Well, this is part B because obviously I hit the stop button instead of the magnify button. All right, so that's good. So now we've got where she's asking us to outline the sleeve pattern piece on a worksheet, measure the needed increase out from both side seams, mark increases at the underarms parallel to both side seams. So let us trace out the pattern piece. Okay, so let me show you how I'm tracing this out. She suggests that you trace out the pattern. So let me just trace out the pattern. Okay, I'm going to go around. This. I'm using my ruler because it just makes it easier for the straight lines. And then I'm going around here. Okay, so I've got the pattern traced out all the way around. I'm going to mark my front and, my back and my front. There. All right, so then she tells us to do this. I guess we're just going to take this one step at a time. Then she says in step 2, place a pin at the stitching line. Place a pin at the stitching line at the top of the sleeve, which is right here. The stitching line is 5/8 of an inch. Place the pin at the stitching line. So that was the pin that I had in there before. Place the pin at the stitching line. There we go. Pivot the pattern to one increase mark. Pivot the pattern. Look back. Pivot the pattern to one increase line. That is not what we want to do here. Hold on 1 second. Okay. There's one increase line there. The next increase line let me mark my other increase line here. Okay. There's that. And then I'm measuring out 2 inches. And that will be my other pivot point. This is my pivot point up here. So I'm going to pivot right here. Am I still recording? No, I'm not. I'm not sure where I left off. And I think I'll leave it like that. Okay. I'm going to use this one first because it just looks easier. Alrighty, so the Nancy Zieman technique for my sleeve is not working for me, so I'm going to plan B. And I am simply measuring out the, let me make sure you can see me. Okay, so I'm measuring out the armhole of the front and the back. Measuring this out. That's where my adjustment was. And I'm measuring this. I have 10 1/4 on the front and on the back in this area right here. So on my sleeve, I'm going to do what's called the slash and spread method. And I've got my lines marked out here. And I need to open this side, which is the back, 3/8 of an inch. That's not much. And then I need to open this side, and that's what I'm measuring to see how much do I need to open the front side. Still trying to make sure I'm in the camera. All right. Sorry for the bouncing back and forth. What I love about this is that there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. So let me pin this down so it doesn't move on me. I'm just going to measure around the pattern edge. And you want to place your measuring tape up like this, not flat like that, but up like this, so you can get an accurate measurement. Come on. All right, so make sure you hold it really nice and tight and just slide it around. I'm not sliding it around, just place it around your pattern piece. My pattern piece is 10. I need 10 1/4, so I need 10 1/4. So I'm going to open this up 1/4 of an inch on the right side, 3/8 of an inch on the back of the sleeve. Okay, using the slash and spread technique. So let us turn. I'm going to cut this off. And I am going to, okay, so here we go. All I did was turn that paper around so I could use the other side. All right, so what I'm going to do is, maybe I'll just go ahead and go back to my grain line since I can see it. I just need to pin this so I can make sure that this part doesn't move. The bottom of the sleeve doesn't move. And then I'm going to, again, I need to open this 3/8 of an inch. And I'm going to slash all the way down to my point here. Just down to it, not through it. So my pen will stop me from going too far. All right, so I need to open this 3/8 of an inch. And that's 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to close that just a little bit. All right, there we go. So that's 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to take this down. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to slash this. This is the one where I need 1/4 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to open this. Oops, move that pin out of the way. All right, I'm going to open this 1/4 of an inch. That's about 1/4 of an inch. I think. Let's measure that. Going from here, that's 1/4 of an inch. We want to open it right there. Pin it down. Okay, and then we have it. So we have the adjustment that we need in the sleeve cap for these two, for the front and back of the bodice top. Okay, that sleeve cap should fit right in there. All right, so okay, so I'm glad we got that figured out. Again, there's always different ways and methods and techniques of getting what you need accomplished on a pattern. That's why I'm such an advocate for using your own measurements, because then you don't have to go through things like this. But in this case and with this pattern, it needs to be done. So it must be done. So I'm going to trace off my sleeve cap, and you'll see where the adjustment is. See, right there. Let me pin the paper down. One thing about this, I will not need to cut out any more paper. I just need to make sure that this is flat, but I can just cut off what I need right there. And this is already done. So let's take our curve. What I'm doing, if you can see that, here's where I'm starting. Right here. I'm adjusting the ruler to the point where the sleeve spread out. And I'm just marking that down. Okay, so let's take that. And our sleeve adjustment is done. That's actually so much easier. But because I had such a big bust adjustment, I just couldn't figure it out with Nancy's technique. So thank God I knew another one. Thank God I knew another one. All right. And that's what you have to do. You need to work with, you got to go with what works for you at the time that you're actually trying to make these adjustments, because they can get a little bit hairy. All right. So we are good. We are good. Let me just make sure this sleeve cap is going to lay down correctly. One more adjustment I want to make is good, and that is my bias right here. So I'm going to go from here, go this way, from here to here. And I might need to adjust that a little bit more, because I actually need a little bit more in that area. And I need to be able to, how am I going to do that? Okay. Okay. All right, so now we're cutting out our pattern. I made 2 adjustments, so let me show you what I did to make the difference. I believe I showed you the slash and spread technique. And then what I did was add the difference, because in my bicep, I needed a certain measurement here. And I just added that to the, I split that in half and added that to each side of my sleeve. And everything else comes back down to 0 here. So that should be just fine. I will be cutting that out. Let me pin that down, because I do have to cut that out. Do I? Yeah. I want to pin that down. Tape that down, make sure it stays in place. Because there's measurements attached to this. Okay. All right. So I was able to use the excess paper that I had. The other side, remember? Turned it around the other side. No wasting paper. Everything costs cash. So if you don't have to toss it, then, you know, do your best to use it. Now, if there is some excess in the sleeve cap, I will just simply do an E-stitch in there to make up that difference. Okay, and then we're going to simply, that took me some time to figure that out, I'm not gonna lie, but thank goodness there's more than one technique to use. I'll just cut out the whole thing. Okay, now we're ready to cut out the fabric. That took such a long time. Nevertheless, you live and learn. You grind and you keep going. No, you grind and you keep going. Because one of my employees told me a long time ago, and she said, let's get all this out of here. She told me a long time ago, she said, Danette, there is a solution for everything. And I believe her. There is a solution for everything. So we've got our sleeve cut out. We're getting ready to cut out our sleeve, I should say. So I've got my grain line. I'm going to measure to the end of my fabric. Let me get a flat layout here. Okay. So I'm going to measure my grain line. Remember, I'm working on a cork board. This is the benefit of having a cork board because you can just go like this and stick it in there and hold your pattern piece down. You can't do that on a self-healing mat, but you can do that on a cork board. So I'm going to 15 3/4 here. I need to measure the same here, 15 3/4. Actually, let me outline my grain line again, because I moved it when I adjusted the pattern. That's the other thing. If you adjust a pattern and it cuts across your grain line, make sure to true up your grain line. Otherwise, you're going to have some serious problems that you would rather not have. Let's see. Come on. Make sure you keep on hand a whole bunch of tape too. All the little things, all the little things, but they make a huge difference. Huge difference. Okay, so this is where I need my line to go. I'll go down a little further so I'll know which one it was. All right, 15. We said 15 3/4. And we've got, this is at the tip, 15, and that's not enough. So we're going to move that over a little bit. Okay, move it over just a little bit more. Until we're at 15 3/4. All right, so we're there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pin this down all the way around. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Guggenheim scissors, and we're going to cut this baby out. I remember I said I was a right hand cutter, and I typically appreciate cutting out my fabric with the fabric to the pattern piece to the right of my scissors, and I do, but in this instance I have to go around this way because of my limited space. Oh yeah, definitely love to cut out on the right side. Definitely. Definitely love to cut out on the right side. Let me move my light back a little bit because I need to get on this side. Okay, so we're going to cut this out. We're going to cut out the cuff for the sleeve hem, and then we're going to cut out the neckband. Ooh, this is... How many of you are right-handed? And I mean, you are really seriously right-handed, because I am really seriously right-handed. Seriously right-handed. All right, seriously right-handed. Ooh. Okay, there's that. This is the neckband, and it actually goes this way. Okay. Where's my... Oh, there it is. Okay. So we're going to cut out these two pieces, the sleeve band and the neck band. I was hoping at one time to be able to make a dress out of this, because green is actually one of my favorite colors, if not my favorite color. I don't go crazy with it though, but I do love it and appreciate it. All right, so I've got the sleeve band pinned down. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Let me give you a tip here. They say pro tip. Let me give you, I don't call myself a pro, but I do have a tip. And that is if you're working, so remember I cut everything out on a size 14 here. And so I'm going to cut this sleeve band out on a 14, but before cutting it out, I had to make sure it was going to fit. So I took my wrist measurement here, and a 7, I have it kind of loose. It's about 7 1/4. And so my space here from seam to seam is almost 9. So I will have some space at the hem of the cuff, or where this is the fold. This is going to fold up here. This is going to be the seam line attaching to the bottom of the sleeve. So this is the part that's going to be sitting around my wrist like this watch is. And so it's going to have a little bit of give, just like this watch does. It has a little bit of give. So this is going to be a good fit. I can do a 14 on this. That's a tip. Anytime you're doing a circumference measurement around your neck, around your bust, around your waist, your hips, your knees, your thighs, your calves, your feet, your ankles, make sure your bicep, make sure that that piece is going to fit comfortably around the circular part of your body. Again, that's why it's very important to take your own personal measurements. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out on a 14. Who knows? Maybe I'll put out something that you guys can grab so that you can actually have your measurements taken and take some of the frustration out of your sewing journey. Measurements are everything. Measurements are everything. Oops. Measurements are everything, okay? It's just like building a house. If the measurements are off, the house is going to be off. Unless you don't mind a crooked house. I don't know anybody that really enjoys a crooked house. So make sure your measurements are on point. I will put a PDF together in the next weeks or so that you can download and have somebody take your measurements. Take your full measurements. Or you can have somebody take your full measurements. Take your full measurements around your body so that when it comes to areas around your body, even your head has a circumference. And so if you look at hats, they have small, medium, large. Those are based on inch measurements. And so even hair pieces, wigs, and everything, circular things have a measurement. And so just like on this piece right here, I needed to make sure that when I fold this in half, I haven't finished cutting it out, but when I fold it in half, this part is going to, when I wrap it around like this, that it's going to fit around my wrist. I have small wrists, so that's not going to be a problem. And this 14 is going to be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. This size 14. Let me just go ahead and snip this out right quick. And cut out this neckband. I'm going to wait on cutting out the neckband until after I try the top on. So, because I'm not sure if that's going to be enough room around my neck. And I don't want it to be, it's kind of a bit of a turtleneck, but I don't want it to be so tight. I don't like things tight around my neck like that. So I want to make sure it's going to be comfortable. I might have to cut it out a little larger. And if that's the case, then I'll have to make an adjustment on the pattern piece for the bodice at the neckline. Not a problem, but I just might have to do that. These are the cuffs. I'm going to do a straight stitch all the way down on 5/8 inch seam allowance. Remember, don't start at the edge of a knit fabric because it can get bunched up in the feed dogs, and that just messes up your sewing time, so not recommended. Sure, take your pins out. Use a ballpoint needle for your knits. It goes in and out of the weft and the warp much easier. Okay, there's one. There's two. And we're going to do the shoulder seams on the top. We're just going to do the shoulder seams here, and then we're going to insert the sleeve in what's called the flat method. All right, so shoulder seams first. I don't know where that went. All right, next shoulder seam. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. There we go. Ooh, what a difference that ballpoint needle makes. Ooh. Okay, so we've got that done. I'll go back and serge these edges off. As a matter of fact, probably need to do that before I add the sleeves. So let me go ahead and serge off my seam allowance here on the shoulder seam. That way I won't have to worry about it trying to cut corners and all of that craziness when it comes to serging off an edge. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the video and serge off these seams here. And when I come back on the next video, probably, I will do the flat method on the sleeves and sew them all down in one go. Yep, that's what we'll do on the next one. So on the sleeves here, they're going to stay flat until I lay them out. I'll show you what we're going to do on the next video. I mean, I'll show you now what we're going to do on the next video. Okay. So I need to take these pins out since we're not going to do side seams yet. Okay. You know, it's challenging to sew and record at the same time because, you know, you don't want to ignore who may be watching, and then you have to stay so focused on what you're doing. So it can be a challenge. All right, so in the flat method, what you do, you've probably seen it a million times. So this will be 1,000,001. You want to lay out your sleeve. This is the back side. It's got 2 notches. This is the front side. It's got 1 notch. And so I've got my sleeves marked here where this mark is for my allowance if I'm going to do some easing. This is the wrong side. So we're going to actually turn this around because I need to do right sides together. Whoa. Whoa, 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 mister, whoa. Okay, so we need to do right sides together. So I will take the side that has, this is the right side. So that means this is the wrong sleeve. This is the right side, and that means this is the right sleeve. So this is my shoulder seam right here, and all I'm going to do is match up every, oh, no, wait. Excuse me. Excuse me. Right sides together. What is going on here? Okay, this is the right side. So this is my shoulder seam here, this dot right here. Can hardly see it, but I'm going to put that right there. And then I'm just going to adjust this in all the way around, match up the notches, and sew that all the way around on that side, and then bring this all the way around on this side, match up the notches, and sew that all the way around as well. It looks like I'm going to have to cut out another set of sleeves. It looks like I did not add enough allowance to the side seam. So we'll be making that adjustment and just cut out another sleeve as well for the next video. All right, so get tuned for that. We've got our cuffs ready. Yay! And we'll be doing that on the next video. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great day. Whoa, I didn't know it was that long of a video. God bless you for hanging in there.